That's good. Okay, really sorry for those people who's online. So let me introduce myself again. I'm Ahmed Siraj. I'm a human being. Why potato? Because I enjoy eating, uh, French fries. It's very good. McDonald's French fries is too dry. KFC is the best, but the chicken is not good. McDonald's is the best. What? Well, life is short. Enjoy it. I mean, we don't want to live for a long time. We want to live for a good time. For me, lah. I mean, getting old and cranky is bad. I don't like it. I mean, I want to die happy. Yeah, hopefully. Same with crying. Let's say if I have a breakup, I'd rather cry miserably in the Lamborghini than in a canchil, like that. And like if the girl left me, I would like to go have a holiday in near a beautiful beach or something. Instead of in my sad house. So right. So what is CI/CD? CI is CD is. So what is that? CI is continuous integration. CD is deployment. So scan this one. It will lead you to this. Just you can read a lot of things about it and so on. There's a lot of knowledge in this site right here. So let me just. So for those who are new to, I hate this thing. So those that is new to CI/CD, the one that is like, what is this CI/CD thing? I kind of feel like a lot of us, some of us, never worked in a team before. Like a freelancer, for example. Any freelancers right here? None? Good. Shout out to you because I used to be a freelancer. I don't know if moonlighting is allowed. Anyway, so yeah, thing is loud, right? Nah, I don't have time for freelancing. Yeah, don't have time for that. Anyway, let's open up this link. So this this website is actually very good. So this one you can, after this talk, you can open it and discover it on your own. So it explains about everything, and it's actually done by University of Helsinki. So this was my textbook because my background is not actually in software engineering or in computer science or stuff like that. My background is in mechatronics engineering. So I'm supposed to be working in a hot factory rather than fancy offices and all that. So this thing is complete, like from the front end to the back end and all those stuff, testing and whatnot. But it's heavily on JavaScript, so it's like a MERN stack, So do check it out. I mean, do read about it so you'll know what is CI/CD and whatnot. So now let's talk about GitHub Actions. Let's talk about GitHub Actions. So, right. So GitHub Actions is basically a feature inside GitHub. Anyone here that doesn't have a GitHub account? None? Of course, you need that to get a job. Because, sometimes they ask, give me a GitHub link. Anyway, maybe you don't. I don't think so. So anyway, GitHub Action is actually a feature inside GitHub that allows you to automate things. How does it work, actually? Well, let's open the repo that I created. So try to scan this thing, the repo. Try to scan this thing. It will open up to my repo, of course, which is a repo that's called infra. So you can try that at home. You can open up that thing and look at it. It's like a go home exercise or something like that. And just look for it. Oh, so this is how you do it. Okay. I mean, if you open up the link, it's going to show up this thing, which is, we have cloud, the cloud file right there. So we open up the cloud. So we have AWS and also GCP. Okay. So if you open up AWS, the stuff about AWS, of course, like how do you set up things and so on. And if you open up GCP, there's a bunch of things inside. So it's self-explanatory. GCP to Google Cloud Platform, GCP. AWS, Amazon Web Services. just like that. And then, what about GitHub Actions? How do I do that? Very easy. Let me Google that for you. Huh? See? Ta-da! So how do I do it, Siraj? How do I do that? Well, click that one. Get started with Actions. And then click on Quick Start. And just follow whatever the thing that's there. You don't want to follow? It's okay. Just open my repo and look at it. So, inside your repo, no, inside mine, because this is mine. So inside my repo, there's this like .github workflows. So this is where you put the thing. So what is this thing? Well, it's a .yml file. I don't know what it is actually. So you put all the things inside. Again, what is this, right? So let me explain bit by bit on what is going on right here. Like what is this that I'm looking at? Well, here's the thing. Remember when it said that when you're deploying something to, let's say, Firebase or AWS Lambda or GCP functions, all that stuff, right? Later I'll explain why we're using a serverless framework and not doing it directly. Actually, I can explain it right now. We want to do less clickings. When you are setting up a Google Cloud project, for example, click here, click there, click, 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 click. So many clickings. Annoying. So that's why we use serverless framework. But we're going to talk about that later. Let's talk about GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions basically allows you to run certain things that you would usually run on your local machine's terminal, either, let's say, when you are merging from, let's say if you have like your own development branch, you're merging it to main, for example, you want it to push it to production, for example, you can do that. You can specify it on here, like on what. So all the event triggers is there in the documentation. I mean, if I explain that, it's going to be a long time. I only have like less than 30 minutes. So you see this thing here, like run, and so on. So this run stuff is the bash. So in order for you to know how to use GitHub Actions, you have to learn bash scripting, which I had to force myself to learn because of my manager and other senior engineering. Yeah, it's a work stuff, but it's a good thing, at least I learned about bash and all that stuff. Join us in Service Rocket, you'll be learning a lot of things. Anyway, back to this. So this is, the bash scripting and all that. So how do you see, like where do you see these things are run? Okay, of course you want to see it. Like, what happened to it? Oh my God. So where you want to see it? No, you can't see it anymore because the screen is off. Anyway, yeah, here we are. So you see it right here. It doesn't show up. I need some help. Oh, it's there. So you run it right here.
Can you cast again?
Oh. You guys are so quiet, I got scared. Okay. Anyway, where was it? Here we go. So why is this empty? Because I made it so. So right now we didn't run anything yet, right? So let's say if we run it, how does it look like? So since I set it to be run manually, come on, run something. Oh, okay. It ran. So how does this thing works actually? Like, what is this? So for GitHub Actions, you can actually specify. It's like a virtual machine, It's like a virtual machine. You specify what operating system you want it to run, and then what are the things that you want to put in. Let's say for example, let's say like you're using. I don't know if anyone here is using NetSuite, something like that. NetSuite actually, we need to use specifically Java 17, right? For that. So how do you tell GitHub Actions that we need that? Well, we can just search for it. GitHub Action Java 17. Is that? Just Google it. Very easy. Anyway, so it ran all the things that we put inside the .yml file. So this is just the basics. But what if we want to go more advanced? Something like what? Like in AWS Lambda, for example, when you want to do this kind of thing, in the terminal, usually, let me show y'all in the slides. Usually it's going to show up something like this. See? Something like this. This is quite annoying, It's like, as user, blah, 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 then press enter to continue. Like, like this, right? But actually, there's two options. Either from the browser, like usually in Google Cloud Platform, you would have to, like it gives you a link, you click on it, it goes to a browser, and then you sign in, and then boom, we put the credential and all that, right? But since we're using GitHub Actions, we can't do that. We need like a one line, for example, something like this. For example, when we're using a serverless framework, there's like config blah blah blah, and then provider key and all that. Like how do we put this? And of course, you don't want to hard code, or you don't want to put your credentials in the repo. You don't want to do that. So how do you put the secrets inside GitHub Actions without it being exposed? Well, we have secrets dot, the thing. So where do you put it? So inside your GitHub Actions, you can put it in the .yml file, which is, let's see, where is it? I mean, this thing right here. You can put it like somewhere right here, like this thing. You can put it somewhere right here. But before that, you have to set up the secrets inside the settings. So how do you put in the credentials inside GitHub Action? You go to settings, and then you go to secrets, and then you go to actions, and then you put in the secret. So let's say if you put in here the name, the thing, and then the secret is like that, and then we add a secret, for example. And let's say if someone stole your account, or let's say if someone's like, hey, the laptop is on, let me just check what is the credential and all that, right? I don't know if anyone does do that. They don't have a life. Anyway. So here we are. Deposit secrets, the thing. So you can actually pull the secret into your GitHub Action.yml file with the one that I showed you, which is secrets dot the name of the secret, right? So like I mentioned before, what if someone, touch your laptop and they want to see things and all that? Well, good luck. Why? Because when we try to view it with a function that is update secret, is empty. Secure, right? But yeah. I mean, once you put in, you don't know what's inside, you can't view it. So, it's secure. Yeah. So yes. And then let's say like another situation. Let's say what else? What else is the situation I want to do? Something like a conditional. Let's say like, okay, I want it so that if I push it to the main branch, only this thing will do. And let's say if I want to put it into, let's say if I merge it with another branch, another thing would do. Well, that thing is what we call as a, that's, let's Google it together. Oh, there is. So yeah, everything is there. The documentation is very good. And also you can also use GitHub Action to see if comparison between your files. Okay, let's say like for this one scenario, let's say like you have a very huge project, okay? And then your very huge project, you don't want it that so that it, keeps uploading over and over. Let's say like you only do some small changes, and then when GitHub Action runs, it just uploads the whole thing. You don't want to do that. So how do you make GitHub Action knows so that it will just push the updated file? Again, let's Google it. GitHub action. Uh, I was using, yeah, this guy. Yeah, I like this person's. So this one is very easy to use. So how does this thing works actually? There's a reason why that, let's say you have a dev branch, you have to create a new branch for the dev branch, and let's say you put in something and all that, do some changes and whatnot, and then do some pull requests, and then let's say they like it, merge it to the dev. Why? Because the way how this thing works is that it compares the previous commits with the new commit. So that's how they know where the change files is. That's how they detect it. And you can actually specify which folder, which path, and whatnot. It's been explained right, yeah, right here. You can either specify which file, or you can specify it on which path. So it will just focus on that one. So these are the few things. So these are the few things that you can do with GitHub Actions. You can actually do more, a lot of stuff with GitHub Action. You just have to Google it. That's the fun thing about GitHub Action. And regarding serverless framework, they focus more on AWS. So that means that if you open up the serverless framework website, and then you check for the documentation, they have a lot of things. Like, let's say you want to push it to AWS Lambda, and let's say if you go for GCP, you want to push it to Google Cloud Functions. Of course, for Google Cloud Functions, you have this thing like, HTTP trigger, like events, buckets, and all those stuff. You can do it. You just have to change the .yml file inside the serverless configuration. That's it. So like, it's super easy, super simple. It's just that GitHub Action helps you to do the things that you would usually do in your Visual Studio Code's terminal. So you don't have to touch that anymore. You just have to push your code to GitHub and let GitHub Action takes care of it. So it's quite helpful when you're developing some things with your team, and you're using multiple cloud services. Like some people, they don't just use AWS. Some people, they use AWS and GCP. Like in my team, for example, we use both GCP and AWS. So serverless is very, very helpful in except Azure. I don't know if you're using it or not. Yeah. So yeah, just it's very, very helpful actually for GitHub Actions and serverless framework actually. So yeah, I think that's it. With love, we're hiring, huh? Okay. Like really, we're hiring. I mean, you see, like no one ever to go in public and say, "Oh, I love my manager," except us, because we love our job. Join us, join us. We're hiring. Yeah, thank you AWS for. Any questions? Like how do I get hired or anything? Want to get hired? Any questions? Yeah.
This is some good question here. When you speak about the secret of things, once you push your secret into the GitHub,
Yeah.
there is no way to modify it once it's in there, right?
That's why you have to update it.
So it's always on updating, but you cannot just modify what's already in there.
You can't view it. That's the
You
thing.
can't view it, but you can modify it.
You can update it.
You can update it.
Yeah,
Like
but you can't
the
view it.
whole thing over again, right?
Huh?
Like the whole thing over again.
Um.
I just take the whole file and push it up again.
Okay.
With
Okay.
the modification I did.
Okay. Here's the thing about the credentials. The credentials, you just put in the value of the credentials inside the settings that I've shown. I mean, you don't actually. Maybe what I understand is that the credentials is inside a JSON file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't do that. So like here, for example, let me just show you. In the value, you don't put in the file itself. You don't upload the file itself. You put in the contents of the file. Yeah. So let's say if you update the credentials, like say, like you don't want to use that credentials anymore. There's a new credentials that are coming up. You can either create a new secret and update the value, and go back to your .yml file for the GitHub action, change it there, or just let the GitHub Actions start, the YML file for the workflow, let it be, and just change the value inside the secret. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Google Cloud Secret Manager. It's not like that. Yeah. Any questions? Like, how do I get hired? Yeah.
So when we deploy on Mac OS in GitHub Actions, for example, when I want to release the iOS app, right? The environment, the bash command sometimes does not work correctly.
Okay.
So can I have this image of Mac to try it on my device, then everything goes on, I upload my YAML file?
Okay. So from what I understand here is that that may work in your laptop, but it doesn't work on other people's laptop, right? So you want to test it out
I want to test the same exact image of
inside your laptop. So no, it's not like you can pull the virtual machine from GitHub Actions and put it in your computer. Other thing that you may do is that you may Dockerize your project, and then you just put your Dockerized project into a GitHub repo, and let it do all the things in the GitHub Actions.
Dockerize Mac OS?
No, not Dockerize macOS. You Dockerize your iOS project.
Yes, I have on Mac.
Yeah. So of course, like what you saw here just now, it was running on Ubuntu latest.
Yes.
But let's say you want to change it into something else. Actually, you can do that. Oh my God, it's off. I'm really sorry. Let me check the Google Meet again. And share screen. Yeah, you can actually do that. Let's say you want to change other OS, for example. Okay. So on this one, it runs on Ubuntu latest. You can also check for other operating systems. Like for here, for example, right? The one that I was demonstrating was using the Ubuntu latest, which is Ubuntu 20.04. But let's say in your GitHub Actions, you want it to boot up in Mac, for example. All you have to do is, where's my repo? Hold on, yeah. Okay, so all you have to do is go back to your workflow, and that's this thing right here, which is called runs on. Runs on is basically run it on that OS. So all you have to do is just change this to, let's see, where's Mac? Yeah, to Mac OS. That's it.
So every time I put like new action,
It will run on Mac OS.
maybe some lines,
They will tell you.
So I have to begin with every time until
Everything.
goes correct.
Yeah, yeah.
No other ways that I can actually run it live or something, try the command.
Like straight away in GitHub Actions.
Yeah, before. So I don't have to wait every time I want.
Can I maybe help answering this?
Let me try first.
Yes.
And then I'll pass it to him.
Please.
GitHub Actions, it's not like, I mean, it is a virtual machine, but it's not like a virtual machine in your local machine. It's not like you download box.
You cannot debug.
No. It's yeah, I failed to answer that. Go ahead.
Okay, you can debug by running the commands one by one inside the same image. So you could, for example, like download VirtualBox or have the Docker image or whatever as your run environment, and then go through the run commands one by one and test them out. But I mean, like this is just like debugging JavaScript.
Different than the libraries installed in.
No, this is a fresh version. So you are getting a fresh version. You will need to install all the libraries that you will require later on.
Okay, for example, let's say you're using npm. Of course, inside this has no npm. So how do you do that? Well, inside the bash commands, you can just put in, npm install. That's it. So yes, just like how he explains it, this is basically every time when it runs, it's basically runs a fresh machine. It's like you buy a new laptop every time you click it. So for the steps, right? Let's say you said that you want to debug the steps. Let's say, okay, I don't like this. Keeps it. Time when I try it, like maybe the steps are wrong and all that. You before it closes, yeah, you can actually test it out in your local machine, as in you can actually create a bash script where you put everything there and just run it on your local machine and all that. Once you feel confident that okay, this runs just like how I wanted it to be, copy it and put it on GitHub Actions. That's it. So yeah, there's no way that you can actually debug it inside the GitHub Actions when it is running. All you can do is that you can take the bash script, you can debug it in your local machine. I mean, change it, everything, modify it, see how it works and all that, and then just copy the whole thing and paste it there. But not removing everything. What do I mean by that is that in the run, in the run here. So you got two options. Either you can let it run a something like .sh file, which is a bash script file, or you can just put the script in there, like copy the whole thing and put it there. So which means that it can be dynamic, Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one question. What do you do if you need to build for latest Mac? Because do they have ARM CPUs?
Well, let's check it out together. Let's see, do they have it or not? Yeah, kind of.
Intel, right?
Yeah, like macOS Monterey 12. Yeah, is that Big Sur? They have everything. But let's say if they have the latest one, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, like recently we got an update 12.1. And what if you want the 12.1, right?
Docker images.
Yeah.
And you need to build Docker images for ARM.
Yeah, actually, for that question, right, I'm really sorry, I can't answer it. Because even me, I never thought that in my head. Like, is this an ARM processor or is it, Let us check.
If I may add, if you want to use it, you could then put on the link direct.
Which processor does it use?
So, is it right that GitHub Action is alternative of Jenkins or code commit, code deploy?
It's like those stuff, but not really those stuff. What do I mean by so? Is because let's say if you use GitHub Actions, you have to use GitHub. Yeah, that's all. Yes.
So, so if you were the one who will choose between GitHub Actions or GitLab CI, which one will you? Or even which
Up to you, actually. Let's say if your team heavily uses GitHub, then use this thing. Let's say if your team uses Bitbucket, then use that one. But let's say if those things are annoying, then let's go with Jenkins. All those things are just tools. Just use it however you like. But yeah, my recommendations are basically, let's say if you are a heavy GitHub user, use GitHub Actions. But it depends on the scenario. For pricing wise and cost and all that, actually I don't know because I have too much money. Anyway, yeah.
So I want to comment on the macOS ARM. GitHub doesn't have it by default, but it supports self-hosted joiners.
Ah.
So you do self-hosted joiner too.
So basically, what processor does it run on?
It's Intel.
Damn. Yeah, I'm feel sad for Microsoft now. Anyway, any other questions? No questions. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, we're hiring.
Unfortunately, we will need a few minutes to set up the next call because this one is telling me that the call will end in 3 minutes, or else I'll have to subscribe to Google One Premium.
Wow. Yeah, Google is not money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they detected that you are speaking about AWS.
Yeah.
So I will have to set up a new call. Maybe in between we could do some hiring.
Yeah. So if anyone is, so now that we have done that, so we can open the space. If anyone is hiring, we can make a call out. We have a mixed audience here. So anyone hiring?
We're hiring.
Any open positions that you want to share?
Uh,
Which roles you are hiring for, and any others, please.
we're looking for a senior manager in support. So if you feel like you are a senior and a manager, apply. Yeah, how do you be a senior manager? Anyway. Yeah, and we're also hiring, we're looking for interns. There's an interns opening as well for software engineering. Anyway, I wanted to open the site. Can I do that? Cannot, right? Damn. So sad. Yeah, open up servicerocket.com and then click on the careers or whatever's there. I mean, there's a lot of clickings over there. I hate clickings. It's what happens when you become doing automation. You hate clickings now. So you go there, click on the careers. There's a lot of roles over there. We are a multinational MNC, multinational company. We're everywhere, even in this room. I'm here. So we have Malaysia, Philippines, UK, Canada,
To you or hello? Okay, brilliant. I please. Okay, as usual. Okay, who remember which company I work for? Okay, please just one hand. I'm disappointed. I work for Seek, right? Here in Asia, we call it Seek Asia, the same company that is responsible for JobSeed, JobDB, Seek website. We have a few more websites here and there, but we are focusing on the job market in specific. Uh, you may know Indeed or LinkedIn. We are the same version in Southeast Asia. We are hiring for many roles. Go to seekasia.com, search for the career page, and see what is available. We are hiring for almost all the roles. Yeah. Another one. All right, and how can they reach out to you? An email so that even if it's on record, they can reach out to you over the okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Maybe we have another 2 minutes if anyone wants to do a lightning talk that we spoke about the last time. So this phase, lightning talk phase, is for anyone to do an impromptu session for 2 to 3 minutes to share something that you're doing at your day job, a side hustle regarding AWS projects, anything that you're doing. Want to share and use this platform, please feel free. Anyone who would like to come and share your thoughts? Any takers? All right. Okay. So there is a new project that my team is working on. And a few things that we find services in AWS that would support us in those challenges, and then a few others that wouldn't support us. For example, we have user-generated content that will be uploaded as image into our platform. And what we wanted to do, we wanted to ensure that this images or any content that is surfaced to the public is first moderated. So, we have specific rules, no violence, no nudity, etc. We need to make sure that this rule applies. For that, we are going to utilize AWS recognition. We were lucky; we found already the automated moderation feature in AWS recognition, and that will really help us. The thing that we couldn't find, and I'm not sure if anyone is thinking, is virus scanning. For those content will be also downloaded, not just uploaded, but also downloaded by public. Anyone face a similar issue? Yeah, I'll suffer alone. Thank you. Thank you, Salam. Anyone else wants to give it a shot? All right. Okay then. Sure. Thank you for that. 对对对对，
All right. So for the next speaker, we have Adam, who is from Arctic Web. See, show myself. All right. Okay, so when I started,
So the feedback.
Can you speak now?
1 second. Okay, good.
Try again.
Are we good?
I think so. Yes.
Okay,
Sorry for interruption.
it's okay. So
So I started to use Terraform for infrastructure as code. It was very simple, very easy. I just copy example, it works. I plan, apply, and confirm, and then grab a cup of coffee. That's it. Let the machine work for you. I mean, we still need it, but let them do the stuff. So it was easy. I started to convert all infrastructure for all projects to Terraform one by one. Long process, but it was worth it. So what is infrastructure as code, as concept? Uh, it's just a code to call API. That API for cloud provider, any cloud provider. When you start to plan and then apply, it will reflect the code as API command to the cloud provider, and then build the resource that you need. Why should we use the infrastructure as code? So first of all, it's very fast. I mean, if you try to run it by yourself, if you want to, for example, change an instance type, for example, you have to stop the instance and wait until it stopped, wait. Maybe you go do another stuff and forget about it and come back later. So you waste some time in this process. For infrastructure as code, it will auto check for the status and will change type and then boot up without you notice. Also, it's about consistency. So if you spend few months or few weeks or any time building your production environment on cloud, you did so many options, so many stuff until it works fine. And then they ask you to replicate this infrastructure for staging. I mean, how can you remember what you clicked, what option you did? It's very hard to get very consistent environment or infrastructure, sorry, for staging. In infrastructure as code, you already have the code, just copy it and it will run the exact same infrastructure for you. Also, it reduces management overhead. So while you just apply the code, it will work by itself. Maybe take 1 minute, 2 minutes, depending on your infrastructure. Sometimes it take more. And this time you can do other stuff. You don't have to worry about it. It will all be done when you come back most of the time. Decrease risks. So when you build cloud infrastructure, sometimes you miss some security configuration here or there. Human errors. I mean, you already know about it, but you just miss it because you did so many stuff. One of them was incorrect. So by infrastructure as code, you can audit your code before you apply it. You can see it exactly what's going on. So no need to check all the user interfaces for something missing or thing. Also, there is another benefit here. When your company rely on cloud architect, relied so much that he know everything, but the documentation is a little bit out of date if he document what he's doing. So when this person is not available anymore, he left the company or absence of leave or anything. What will happen? They will hire another one or different engineer. He will say what's going on. We have to check every service, every region, or go to Cost Explorer or something else to understand the exact current state of the infrastructure. In infrastructure as code, it's already there. No need to review all that stuff. You can see it all in front of you. It's also self-documenting. So sometimes you just add new service in AWS or new stuff, but you forget to document or update your documentation because you are in hurry, no time, something. So when you look back to documentation, it's always mostly out of date. So in infrastructure as code, the code itself is the documentation. Because it is code, we can use VCS, Virgin System Control, Virgin Control System, to document this code. So every change you make, every resource you add, you already added the title for this commit, why you did it, when you did it. You can also come back in history to see how it was before. So it's very self-documenting. You don't need to write a new documentation for it. Okay, so quick example about popular tools. There are so many. You can find any. Chef, Puppeteer. There is also infrastructure as SQL. You can just use usual query in SQL to build your infrastructure, like select, insert, delete, update, and so on. But this one is very complicated because it is not designed for this purpose. The most noticeable one is Ansible from Red Hat. If you are using Red Hat Ansible, you know about it. But it's like more for operation, more for uh, config management. It supports infrastructure as code, but maybe some advanced feature is not covered by Ansible. So unless your company already use Ansible, you don't have to go for it. AWS CloudFormation is very, very compatible with AWS, of course. Very supported by AWS. Even any new feature, it's already running fine. Because in Terraform, sometimes you face a bug because this feature for AWS is not yet fully supported or not fully tested. So CloudFormation is very compatible. However, Terraform is much, much easier to understand, to learn. When I learned Terraform, this is the first time I didn't use Stack Overflow. I just went to the documentation. The documentation is dead simple, example, and the parameters. Very easy to use. I just copy paste, it works fine most of the time. So this is first feature. It's very easy to learn. Second feature is it support multiple or most cloud providers. So if you are using AWS for some services and Alibaba for others, like for government compliance or something, sorry. Terraform support everything. If you create resource here, it will change DNS there depending on this result. So all in one code. You can mix Cloudflare, you can mix Google Cloud. So I just used Terraform. Okay, there is so many plugins or add-ons for Terraform. You can find on GitHub, mostly open sources. You can use it. You can even visualize the code actually. Terraform support visualization natively, just normal graph, but there is more advanced feature that make an interactive visualization. If you click on something, you see the whole thing. So it's very easier to understand, especially when you have a huge project. So visualization here is easy. Maybe I will try it in demo. There are many tools, as I said. Okay, so that's everything is cool, but we already built our infrastructure. So how we can convert to infrastructure as code or use Terraform? There are two approaches here. You can handle it like the current infrastructure as legacy code. So you don't have to rewrite everything. You just the new features. That's what I did. The new feature I add, I write it in Terraform or infrastructure as code, and the surrounding feature or resources. And by time, you can add more until you finish your project. So you can use Terraform import. You just specify the ID for machine, and it will link it to your code. Or you can use Terraformer, which is unofficially from Google. It can extract all resources in your account and then generate the infrastructure as code. It's like reverse Terraform. So, but the generated code needs some improvement, you know. So it depends based on you. Okay, so what are the challenges that I face with Terraform? Most known challenge is the state file. Terraform has code, but it also has state file auto-generated. When you every time you apply, it will store those IDs for those resources in state file. So next time you apply, it does not create them again. Those files uh, changing every time, and it contain sensitive information. So you cannot just check them out on GitHub. Uh, there is other way to do it if you have team. Terraform has built-in feature called the remote backend. You can store this file remotely on encrypted storage, and every time you apply, it will pull this state file, uh, change it, and push it again up to date. The other challenge here is when if you build your CI/CD for IaaC infrastructure as code, if you want to approve a PR, you have to check it. You have to know the result before you approve it. So it's a little bit tricky to handle. But there are tools to do this, like Atlantis, run at like atlantis.io, which is Terraform pull request automation. It saves you so much time. You can see the result before you approve, and also after you approve, it will automatically apply the PR. So it automates the process. Last challenge is long repetitive code. So if you start, you just write 20 line or 50 lines something, but then with time you get more lines, more files for Terraform. It gets very long, very easy, because every time you want new resources, maybe you copy that same code every time. So it will be very long. How to handle this? I used module for Terraform. Okay, so Terraform modules, the purpose is to handle inputs like variables, or for output. If you want to don't repeat your code, it can generate output without any new resource. Or you can use it for generate or create new resources. Modules are available publicly. If someone publish a module, you can just use it, or you can build your own simply by create a new folder. You can later publish it if you like it. So module structure are simply folder. Consider them like a function or method. You just pass some arguments, and then it will do stuff logic and then return some output. Sorry, simply like that. It's no different from Terraform code itself. It's just folder. Okay, so when do I write my module? Should I use it every time for everything to make everything smaller? No. Consider it for representing higher level concept, like for example, If I want an S3 bucket, I have to create the bucket. I also have to create an access key for that bucket. For that access key, I want policy, attach policy. Maybe I create the policy. So I create like 4 or 5 resources for just to get a bucket. This way, we can use module for creating bucket. Higher concept. Just give me a space for storage. Uh, if you also repeat so many code, for example, if you want to create a security group resources, you have to enter so many default values or change them based on your default values, and then repeat the process for every security group you have. It will produce a very huge long code. Then you can use module to specify the variables for you and keep your defaults inside the module. Okay, so basically do not use module for every resource. You don't wrap everything in module, then it will become very complicated to understand. It's totally different language from Terraform. So use it only for higher concept. Okay, I was fast. So I'll go to live demo. So as you can see here, uh, we have module folder that I made. Those are my own modules. I will explain later. We have the main Terraform file, and we have the file for each service, like Amazon, AWS, EC2, RDS, Rebucket, and so on. So you don't confuse where I put that instance or something. And we have variables for to change default values, like domain name or region you are in, or access key. Of course, for access key, you have to store it in Terraform vars file, which are not checked out to GitHub. You can use also Vault for this service if you want to share the secret. And then lastly, we have version to specify which version we are working on for the cloud provider. So for modules, let's open anyone. Okay, we have most of the time 4 files. We have main file, which is the service itself. We have outputs, we have variables like inputs, and we have version for cloud provider version. Okay, for example, inside main file for S3, I created resources, I created bucket, I created policies, key, IAM key, and so on. So all this code, it will be repeated for every bucket I create. Instead of repeating that code, I created a module, so I can simply call it like this. Here I need 2 buckets, and so I just pass module path and then the name of bucket, and that's it. So it's very easy to code and very short. So this example I will run. It will generate this this architect. I already published the code on GitHub. If you want to copy this example at GitHub ArchitWeb, and you will find it. So we will build in this example 2 instances, one for production, one for staging, and one RDS server, and 2 buckets with CloudWatch board. Okay, let's try it. First, we need to initiate. It will define all modules that I'm using just for the first time, because this is just clone code. I think no internet connection or something. No, slow, little bit slow connection. Okay, and we are done. So now I can plan to check out or see what will happen if I apply this code. Of course. Okay, so in blank command, it will fetch all the information on the cloud and will tell you what's already exists and what will be created. In this case, we will create 25 resources and change 0 and destroy 0. You have to watch this destroy thing. Okay, the output will be as the following. After creating those instances, you will see the IP address for instance, or you will see the endpoint access key secret for S3 bucket. Let's try to apply how much time it will take. So when you hit apply, you have to be careful before confirming your changes. 0 destroy. Okay, so now it's applying or generating, creating all this infrastructure that I just show you. This. Uh, it's sending API request to cloud provider for everything, for IAM user, for instance, for everything. You notice something done. And 25 resources is generated with no time. So yeah, very fast. If you want to try to generate those resources by user interface, you will waste so many hours. Okay, so does it work actually? Let's check this out. You see? Wait, just wait. Yeah, it works. It generates two buckets for staging and production, and generate a watch dashboard. Exactly like I want. Not available that data yet because it's just booted, and that's it. So for example, for CloudWatch, the code was very easy. Just create my main dashboard, and then I created module for widget, for every widget module. In this module, I already defined CPU utilization, traffic in and out, and so on. So I don't have to worry all about that. I just use the model. Let's see it. This. If I didn't create this module, I would repeat this code like 2 times or 3 times. It will be very long. Yeah. So another thing you have to watch out for. Here, I didn't create the RDS yet. because it's commented out. So what if you already create stuff and then comment it out? It will be destroyed. It's declarative. If it's not there, it will be destroyed. So here, let's try to comment something. Okay. Yeah, because it's already connected to the output and also CloudWatch and so many stuff. Let's put it back. Let's try S3 bucket. Okay, so anything you comment, it will be destroyed. So be careful about this, unless you want to lose your job. See here, it says here. Yeah, it's one module, but it has 6 resources inside. So those resources will be destroyed. No. Okay, after I finish, I will destroy everything by commenting out everything. So that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, there is one.
Yes?
You may want to regenerate the secret access keys because it's literally there on the screen as well. Your access keys.
Access key. Of course, I will delete. Yes.
Because it's on YouTube.
Of course, yes.
The second question, the real question I want to ask is that in your Terraform module where the providers is an AWS provider, I see that you're injecting your access key and secret access key
Yes.
directly through that. Okay. And do you always need to inject that in? Because as per what I have used GitHub, Terraform itself, you don't need to equal that because
Yeah.
it looks for your AWS config on a local machine.
Exactly. Yes.
If you have used AWS CLI or if you're using pipeline like Bitbucket, GitHub,
Yes.
it looks for the environment there.
Correct. But for CI/CD, you're still not using profile, right? Because
But you can
it's
make
fresh.
profiles.
Yeah. Usually I use it. I have so many profiles on my DC, so I try to keep it like this. Also, there is other secrets you have to manage, like for example, username and password for RDS. So it's not in the profile. You have to manage all your secrets in one place so you don't forget one of them. If you are working solo, you can use bar files, but if you have time, you can use Vault. So you can share those secrets based on request. Yes?
With the protection, you said like if you edit the Terraform, your script, and something is commented out,
Yes.
so you remove,
Yes.
you already deployed,
Exactly.
so remove it, destroy it.
Yes.
Is there any other way to gatekeep this other than manually someone by mistake, let's say you comment out and you need to approve by entering a value yes. Is there any other way checks you can put as part of the script to avoid it from destroying
Yeah.
if you actually comment or remove something?
Okay, so infrastructure as code is using API to call the cloud provider. The same way you are using user interface to create or destroy stuff. So when you are destroying, it's actually destroying. Unless you are protecting your instance for termination. No, if you delete your stuff from user interface, it will be destroyed same way.
Even if you want user, that's permission.
Yes, in the key, you might add the permission for create only or read only. So that might work also. But you need to delete sometime and you remove some resources. Yes?
Hi, I'm wondering, besides the fact that Terraform can abstract somewhat of the cloud provider, what is your main effect of Terraform cloud formation.
Sorry, I don't get the question.
Well, Amazon has its own infrastructure as code.
Yes,
And I know Terraform is one way it's more powerful because it also can handle Azure and
exactly. Yes.
other environments. But if you leave that advantage out, are there other big advantages?
Yes, it's mostly the documentation is very easy. There are so many tools to support Terraform for visualization, for importing, for so many stuff. Even there is a visual builder for Terraform. I don't use, but I use this extension on. Let's see. For example, this extension on VS Code, it will also help you a lot in your code. It will show you all possible variables here. Let me see. Yeah, it didn't work, but usually it works. Maybe here. So it's very easy. It just autocomplete or stuff. Yeah. Very easy to do it. Also, there is a huge community for Terraform over CloudFormation. So anything you need, it's already there. Okay.
Can I maybe add another perspective to
Yes,
this?
of course.
I think that CloudFormation, if you are using AWS only, CloudFormation would be a better solution. The reason is rollback. So when you
Yeah,
have,
rollback.
yeah, if you want to manage rollback in Terraform yourself, that would be a nightmare because you will need to save all the plans and then you need to reapply certain versions of your plans, and that will never 100% work all the time. From experience.
Yes. Any other question? So you can just reach me on social network if you have any question. I always reply, even for bots or spam. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Just a precursor announcement that the end of this month is event. So those who wish to catch up on the live streams, they can still register for the live streams of the keynote that will be available live. So you can still go to reinvent.aws.com and register for yourself, and the keynote will be streamed live. And the other sessions will be available on YouTube later from 6 onwards. 6 December onwards is what it will be made available. So yeah, so for those who are interested, please do. That's a lot of information that will be shared there. And we will do a recap of the event in January. We initially had planned it for December, but we will probably do that in the meetup to be done in January. And next month, we are planning to have a session at Monash University, which is near Sunday. So the idea is to have a different format next time around. So we're going to do one where we have some fireside chat, bring folks from the industry, bring folks from AWS technical folks for answering our questions. And if you have any suggestions for that particular format, please let us know, and we'll try and incorporate that as well. So yeah, that's the plan for next month. So see you around there. There's going to be a huge auditorium, a seating capacity of 200 to 300. So we're expecting to house more students and folks. So it would be a good networking environment. So yeah, please let your colleagues know, let your friends know, and join us. So tentative dates are 15th of December. So see you around that time. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, few more things. So, first of all, we always need speakers. We already have a Facebook page. Go there. You'll find a form. Send a request. We will look at it. We will try to have a specific team and each meet up. For sure, we are planning 1 month by 1 month, so we will contact you. The second thing, you can see that for venues, we are trying always to move and trying to change from a venue to the other. So if your company is also supportive of hosting us, please let us know. And the last thing for hiring, we always, welcome having hiring requests, whether you are trying to search for a job or trying to find people to join your company. Please bring those opportunities to us. We want the whole community to benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you. Special shout out to Fahim, Kate, and everyone at AWS today.